This is Matador News, and these are today's headlines. 5 people stabbed at UC Merced. A historic meeting is set between the presidents of China and Taiwan, and fast food giant McDonald's launches a gourmet burger. Hello and welcome to Matador News. I'm Glenna Dixon.
And I'm Kiara Draper.
University officials are looking for the motive that prompted a UC Merced student to stab 5 people on campus this morning. The UC Merced campus is outside of Fresno. The stabbings took place in front of a classroom and office building at 8 this morning. 2 of the victims were airlifted to a hospital and the other 3 are being treated on campus. The severities of their injuries are unknown. The suspect has been shot and killed by police. Classes have been canceled for the rest of the day and campus is closed. UC Merced officials have scheduled a news conference later this afternoon.
The British now have concerns that the Russian airliner was brought down by a bomb. U.S. intel believes that ISIS was involved. Officials say British aviation experts are traveling to the Sinai resort to access security before British flights there will be allowed to leave. Investigators have been listening to the cockpit voice recorder while examining the flight data recorder. The Metrojet charter flight bound for Russia crashed Saturday in Egypt 23 minutes into the flight. The wreckage was spread over 15 miles of Egypt's desert.
A historical meeting between the president of China, Xi Jinping, and Taiwan President Ma Ying-jeou would take place this weekend. It's the first meeting since the 1949 Civil War between communists and nationalists, which ended with Taiwan splitting from mainland China. In Taipei, pro-independence demonstrators are rallying outside the legislature to protest the planned meeting. Taiwan and China have signed 23 deals covering trade, transit, and investments. Ma Ying-jeou is hoping for a closer economic tie as well as security assurance from Beijing. China has advocated a one-country, two-policy system form of joint rule in which Beijing controls Taiwan. But the islands of 23 million people already favor the current state of de facto independence.
North Korea is urging the U.S. to end what it calls nuclear-based threats and blackmail. North Korea is also asking the U.S. to respond to a recent diplomatic proposal to formally end the decades-old Korean conflict. Actual fighting between the two Koreas ended in 1953, but without a peace treaty, technically still leaving them at war. A permanent peace settlement on the Korea Peninsula first requires a North Korean-U.S. agreement. The issue of signing a peace treaty between North Korea and the U.S. depends on policy determinations of the U.S. administration.
Ohio voters say they don't want to legalize the use of recreational marijuana. Ian James from the medical marijuana advocacy group Responsible Ohio says his group will continue to fight.
This was, folks, the first step to legalization. We're not going away.
If the amendment had passed, it would have made Ohio the 5th state to legalize marijuana. It also would have given a small group of businessmen a monopoly on cultivating the drug. The drug would have been sold to anyone 21 years or older at a limited number of places within the state. With the $50 license, buyers of the drug could hold up to 1 ounce for personal use and up to 8 ounces of harvested pot.
Houston voters reject the equal rights ordinance that would protect gays and transgendered people in Tuesday's election. Opponents are calling it the bathroom ordinance. They argued that it would allow sexual predators posing as transgendered women to enter women's restrooms. Democratic Houston Mayor Anise Parker says that was a scare tactic.
No one's rights should be subject to a popular vote. It is insulting, it is demeaning, and it is just wrong.
Supporters of the measure say its defeat could lead to boycotts of Houston by conferences and sports teams.
Let's go to the newsroom with Matador News reporter Melissa Hernandez to talk about Africana Studies Week.
CSUN's Africana Studies Department is celebrating their 46th anniversary this week. The department will be hosting several events on campus honoring Africana Studies. We spoke to Dr. Amy Glocky about why this week is important.
students and the faculty and also the community fought for Black Studies to be institutionalized between the 1968 and 1969 school year. So it was 1969 that we were officially made to be a department here on campus, and so we're celebrating.
Glocky says that although this week creates awareness in regards to ethnic studies, their main focus is to enhance the Black student population on campus.
I think we have a lot of work left to do. We have a low percentage of Black students, we have a low retention rate of Black students, we have a low graduation rate of Black students. So our priority here in Black Studies is we want to change that. So we work heavily with recruitment in terms of trying to get students admitted into the university. We work heavily with retention and try to provide an environment for the students who feel comfortable.
There will be a film screening on campus of the storm at Valley State, honoring when the Africana Studies Department was founded. See you there. Back to Kiara in the studio.
The Los Angeles County Supervisors have been busy. They moved closer to a policy that would publicly shame individuals convicted of soliciting sex from minors. Officials told the supervisors to expect a draft ordinance next week. The supervisors also ordered a wide-ranging audit of Fairplex. They are seeking to renegotiate terms of a lengthy lease that gives the organization year-round control over the fairgrounds. Firefighters in Los Angeles County sheriffs, among others, are receiving a 10% raise over 3 years. This agreement by the supervisors mirrors a deal approved a few months ago for lifeguards and public defender investigators.
The Los Angeles Police Department plans to collect more extensive data about cases in which officers use force. LAPD Chief Charlie Beck announced the move at the Los Angeles Police Commission. He says the yearly review of the force will be more comprehensive than ever before. The data will include demographics of people of whom officers use force, arrest demographics, and the types of calls involving force. There will also be comparisons with how many overall calls for help the department gets.
Now let's go to Abril Preciado with the latest on business.
Thank you, Kiara. Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen says December could bring a hike in the interest rates if the upcoming economic data are not supportive. Her remarks to Congress this morning largely echoed the Fed's statement after its meeting last week. That said, the central bank will act if the economy and labor market continue to improve. Job growth has slowed recently, and the economy grew just 1.5% at the annual rate in the third quarter. But Yellen downplayed concerns that a rate hike could push up mortgage rates and slow the housing recovery. The Honda Motor Company has dropped Takata as its airbag supplier. The supplier suffered a $70 million penalty for failing to promptly disclose defects in its airbags. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration announced the penalty yesterday. The penalty can increase to $130 million if Takata doesn't comply with the terms of a consent order. 8 deaths and over 100 injuries have been linked to the defective airbags. The Chipotle stock has fallen more than 5% in the last weeks after the E. coli breakout. Chipotle has closed 43 restaurants in Washington and Oregon. The closed locations only represent 2% of their more than 1,000 restaurants locations. Nationwide, 8 people have reportedly been hospitalized. The customers filing a lawsuit is seeking damages of at least $7,000 in an early food contamination case. Now let's toss to Vanessa Cortez with the latest in health.
Researchers at New York University say that people don't care about the nutritional information at fast food restaurants like McDonald's, Wendy's, KFC, and Burger King. The scientists were looking at New York City's requirement for fast food restaurants to include caloric information on their menu boards. Only 1 in 10 consumers were influenced to change their order based on the caloric information. Diners were consuming the same numbers of calories now that they were in 2008. The study intends to challenge the calorie information display requirement and how effective of a tactic it really is in the fight against obesity. If you feel like all your best ideas come when you're not at the office, you may be right. According to a new study, the office air you're breathing is actually making you dumber. Syracuse University researchers reported in Environmental Health Perspectives that stuffy offices can diminish your brain power by more than half. 24 working professionals were put in an office for 6 days. The participants were then asked to take cognition tests. Researchers found that those in stuffier rooms performed less well. So for the next time, make sure to head out of the office on your lunch break. It may be the best idea. By the way, the research was paid for in part a company who makes air filter systems. Here is Matador News reporter Pia Henham with more on this mind-boggling report.
Thanks, Vanessa. Now, we all know teenagers spend a lot of time using social media, but it might shock you to hear exactly how much time they are spending online. Non-profit Common Sense Media says that the younger generation spends a mind-boggling 9 hours a day on social media. 9 hours is longer than the average teen spends sleeping, and this statistic doesn't even include the media they use for homework. The report sampled 2,600 young people aged 8 to 18 and found that 75% of teens use their phones while doing their homework. We talked to CSUN students to find out their reaction to this staggering statistic.
I mean, I'm not really surprised. That's kind of how, like, this generation is turning out to be as technology advances. So, I mean, I'm not surprised.
9 hours a day, that's a lot. Like, I mean, there's 24 hours in a day. Yeah, so.
There's like so many things that we can be doing, and that's what like we choose to do every day. So, yeah.
Common Sense Media warned parents and educators that this lifestyle choice could be negatively shaping the younger generation's lives. Now let's go back to Abril with the latest on entertainment.
Thank you, Pia. It's a Backstreet Boy. Nick Carter revealed the sex of his baby with wife Kit Carter during a live episode of Dancing with the Stars. The big news came after Carter and his dance partner Sharna Burgess' dance performance. The Carters opened a big silver box with blue balloons, indicating they are expecting a boy. Justin Bieber quit his Oslo, Norway show after performing just one song. The artist tried to wipe liquid off the stage after his fans in the front row threw water in front of him. As he tried to clean up the slippery mess, his fans got in the way. The 21-year-old superstar says he couldn't take it anymore and stormed off the stage. On Instagram, Bieber wrote that he chose to end the show because people in the front row were not listening. Actors Lisa Rinna and Harry Hamlin are making a public apology after going a little too far on their authenticity with their Halloween costumes. The couple was photographed on Friday night dressed up as Sex Pistols Sid Vicious and his girlfriend Nancy Spungen. For Halloween, Hamlin supported a red t-shirt with a swastika printed on it. The costume was inspired by a photo where punk artist Vicious wore a similar t-shirt. After the photo surfaced all over, many were offended by it. Mirna took to Instagram and apologized for both of them. Now let's toss to Vanessa with sports.
Thank you, Abril. Jeff Gordon will have a shot to win a championship in his last race. The NASCAR driver punched his ticket to the Sprint Cup Championship Series finale. He took checkered flag this past weekend at Martinsville Speedway. Gordon took the lead on lap 454 after Matt Kenseth intentionally took out leader Joey Logano. Kenseth was down some laps when he wrecked Logano. Gordon held up Jamie McMurray in the last 15 laps for the victory. There are 2 more races left in the NASCAR playoff chase before the November 22nd at Homestead Miami Speedway. Gordon announced earlier this year he is retiring. He will be competing for his 5th NASCAR championship. The Lakers are still looking for their first win of the season. Last night, the Denver Nuggets defeated the Lakers 120-109. Let's start in the second half. Kobe Bryant takes the turnover and leads the fast break where he hands it off to rookie guard D'Angelo Russell for the layup. Bryant finished with 11 points and 5 assists. Next, watch as big man Roy Hibbert runs the floor and gets rewarded with his sweet dunk. The Nuggets rookie guard Emmanuel Mudiay drains a three-pointer and picks up the extra point. He finished with 12 points and 10 assists. The Nuggets put the Lakers away with this dunk to Danilo Gallinari late in the fourth quarter. Los Angeles faces Brooklyn this Friday. The Cal State Northridge men's soccer team is going to the playoffs. The team clinched the 2nd seed in the South Division of the Big West Conference. The team will host UC Davis this weekend in the first round of the conference playoffs. Northridge finished its season 8 wins, 7 losses, and 3 ties. The team had 4 wins, 4 losses, and 2 ties in the Big West Conference.
McDonald's in the UK are taking things to a new level by launching its thickest ever patty. There will be new barbecue, spicy, and classic premium range burgers. Customers may have to wait a bit longer for the burgers since they will be made fresh to order. McDonald's will sell the signature premium burgers for $7 and $9 for a meal. The gourmet burgers will launch in 28 restaurants around London and other parts of the UK. If the burger is a hit, it will launch in the US next summer.
Temperatures have finally started to drop in Northridge with lows of 46 degrees. After a scorching summer, CSUN students were shocked with the sudden 40-degree temperature drop and had to warm and wrap up. With gray clouds and showers, too much of Los Angeles are wondering, is El Nino coming? Preparations are underway in Los Angeles for what has the potential to be a severe winter in 1997 to 1998. El Nino season is everything to go by. That's all for Matador News. This is Glenna Dixon.
And I'm Kiara Draper.
And I'm Vanessa Cortez.
And I'm Abril Preciado.
Have a great day, everyone.